Hello? I actually don't know. This quality is not very good. Okay. We can work with this. Can we? I don't know. I don't know. Hi, hello, and welcome to Life Off Script. My name is Yaz. I thought I would put a face to what you've been listening to lately. It's officially 2 months since my first episode. So very exciting. Guys, check out my Joe Soprano fingers. Just an FYI, I'm gonna highlight that before we get started, so you're not like that girl's got fat fingers. Yeah, we know, fully aware. Thank you so much. Anyway, so I wanted to do an episode. So first of all, I wanted to do a video recording. Although in saying that, I'm doing it from an integrated webcam off a terrible, terrible PC. My MacBook broke. I don't know how to integrate onto my phone. I am not very tech savvy. So the angle is giving either you're a tiny, tiny child on my couch or you're kind of low key sitting down and having a wine on the rug. And you just wanted to sit there because, the rug does give good vibes. It's a bit more grounding rather than the couch. And I'm just speaking to you. So that's the kind of vibe I was going to give, probably inadvertently because I just don't have the resources to make it look nicer, make the video maybe not something from 2008. And yeah, that's I do apologize for that. But also maybe a bit of a fun vintage retro vibe. Could we go there? I don't know. Anyway, I wanted to show my face, obviously, number one. Number two, I wanted to do a segment on how I got confident with dating. Because I used to be a type of person where I would speak to a guy on a dating app, Bumble or Hinge, what have you, and I would be like, yep, love that, love flirting with them. They would be like, let's go on a date. I'd be like, perfect. Yep. Come around to Thursday, always seemed to be a Thursday, and I would rather skydive 30 times in a row than go out for drinks. I would literally dread it like I had a presentation due or something and I would have to speak in front of all these people. I would, yeah, rather skydive or like be the person that, in skydiving where sometimes you pay for the actual video and it's a guy that's got a GoPro on his head. I would rather be that person because they would climb out of the aeroplane up to the top of the aeroplane. Well, this is what happened with mine anyway. And then wait for you to jump out and then they would jump out as well at the same time kind of thing. And then they would film your descent. I would rather do that. Yeah, I would rather mid-flight literally climb up on an airplane. Yeah, that was my vibe. So I have a lot of fears and one of them was dating at the time. I was really nervous. I just didn't feel like I knew how to do it. I was like, oh, I'm not good with men, rah, rah, rah. And it was scary. And, everyone around me is like dating away, no problem. Like, yes, they get nervous, but did they get nervous on my level? Like, I don't know. Anyway, I decided to play a game with myself, play a little challenge with myself, give myself a challenge that wouldn't, I guess, the only benefits out of it would be that I would get confidence because practice makes perfect, right? So I had just moved to Geelong at that time and I was like, what can I do that will make me feel better? And there was like, there's so many other ways of doing it, but I decided exposure therapy, I guess. And I was like, I'm going to do a date a week for, I think, 3 months. Yeah, that's a lot of dates. Yeah. I was 22 at the time, 21, 22. I decided to do that. I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to do that. I'm going to go on a first date every week. And if I don't have a date lined up in terms of a first date, a second date will do. Second date's great, obviously. But I wanted it to be a first date because I wanted to meet new people, and I wanted to be in a position where it was like not just like one date with the same person over weeks. Like that's not helpful to me. I need to be in a position where I am put in a stressful situation, and yes, hear me out, stressful situation where I then learn it ain't that stressful. So at that point, I had been on 3 dates over my whole life. So I was kind of like, I'm ready to begin this challenge. Like, I was like, I know that practice makes perfect. I know that I just need to like push past this like scary, it's like a scary barrier of like, oh my God, like dating. Like, of course. And you know what? Everyone gets that. Like, I don't think there's anyone that doesn't get nervous before a date for sure. But for me, I was getting so nervous that I would cancel, which was not helpful to me because it's like, how are you going to meet people? How are you going to meet people if you keep flirting and then canceling when you just don't want to go on a date? So anyway, what I did was I basically I'd have one date a week and I would force myself to organize for the next date and have something ready each week. So I went on, I think in the end, I did about 6 or 7 first dates uh, over the course of 7 weeks. So I didn't do the actual whole 3 months, but it was honestly more than enough for me to get the ball rolling. And honestly, I feel like from then on, everything was a piece of cake. This is how I feel like has helped me over the course. I've gone on I mean, that was when I was like, what, 22, and I'm 27 now. So I've had a lot of dates, a lot of dates. Some things have progressed, some things have not, either from my end or his end or both ends mutually. But I wanted to talk about why some things that I feel like prevent people from having a good date. Okay. First one is that people go into it thinking it's an interview, which is not the right mindset to have. The right mindset to have is to go in it thinking that you're already friends. This is obviously for people that are going on a dating app date, okay? But you need to go in already having a bit of a friendliness to it. Like you're catching up with an old friend, okay? Hear me out. If you go in it, if you go in it like it's an interview, it's going to feel like one. It's going to feel like an interview. If I come out of a date knowing how many siblings you have, I haven't had a good date. I haven't had a good day. I'm sorry. Does that sound bad? I don't know. I don't want to know what your favorite color is. Who cares? Who cares about that? I want to know what you're thinking about the news right now. How do you feel about what I did on the weekend? Things like that. Like I want to know what why you wear closed-toed shoes all the time. Get those dogs out. But like things like that, like little niche things. I want to talk like we're catching up and we've just had a bit of a break and we haven't seen each other in a while. And I want to know what's going on in your life, who you're hanging out with in a fun way. And like why do I need to know, you have 3 brothers? Cool. Who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck? I need to know that down the track, sure. I'd love to know that if it's like part of a story where you're like, oh, and then when I went back to my family's place, my brother, and then I'd be like, oh, you've got a brother, and he'd be like, yeah, I've got 3, and then we'd move on. It's not like this. It wouldn't go, so how many siblings do you have? Oh my God. Whenever someone asks me that, I'm like, anyway, back to my topic. Going into it not as an interview, very relaxed. You could say, hey, how are you? Oh my God, were you waiting here long? I just know how nosy I am when I go out to a restaurant, to the pub, whatever, and I know that the people next to me are on a first date. Oh, it's just juicy, it's so fun to eavesdrop, right? So you're your aim of the game, really, in that respect, is that if you're going on a first date, you need to confuse the people around you. Are you on a first date? A second? A third? Wow, they're really casual and chill with each other. Then this must be their second date. Because as soon as they sniff out that you're on a first date, good fucking luck. You've got a crowd of people around you. Also wanting to know how many siblings you have. Also finding out you've got 3 brothers. Okay, so first one is to go into it casual. You're meeting up with a friend that you haven't seen in a while. And I say friend because you want to actually have a friendly repertoire with them. You want to have this friendly conversation. And then when you feel relaxed, because you will end up feeling relaxed just by changing your mindset, that's when you start getting into the flirtiness. You know what I mean? Okay, next one. Reframing what the date means to you. Right, let's imagine you're my sister, because my sister is very much, I want a marriage, I want kids, rah, rah, rah. Okay, let's imagine that that's how you feel as well. Like, you're very like, I relate to that. That's exactly what I want. I want to look for a long-term relationship. Great. Great. So, pressure's on, isn't it? I think having that intention, having that lens, great. Having that pressure, though, different story, right? So I think going into a date, there's a few things that you want to figure out. You want to figure out whether you like hanging out with them. Did the conversation go well? Was there a lot to talk about? Did it flow? Were you interested in what he was saying? Besides the flirting, were you interested in what he was saying? What he was talking about? Did he ask you questions? Was he also interested in what you were saying? Were you drunk? Were you tipsy? Was he drunk? Was he tipsy? What sort of energy did he give off? There will be an energy that someone will give off, aka, especially men. Men give off so many energies. It's actually ridiculous. They will give you an energy, and you need to be sober enough to discern what that energy is. So I do recommend not getting drunk on dates, first dates specifically. I've learned the hard way. I've learned the hard way of that. So just letting you know not to do that. You also want to find out if you like who you are around them. This one's a hard one to discern, and I'm not saying that I think that one is like, sometimes you can't tell on the first day, and that's fair enough, like, honestly. But I think there's like glimpses that you can get, right? So it's like, are you acting a certain way in front of him? Are you trying to be more posh, less posh, more relaxed than you actually are, less relaxed? But you really need to think, and mind you, I have not said this whole time what you think this guy thinks of you, because it doesn't matter. It does not matter at all. You don't need to think about what he thinks of the date, what he thinks of you, what he thinks of the situation. Why? Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What use is it that you're trying to assume how he's feeling about you on the date? That's so confusing. So you're going, oh, I'm on this date. I wonder what he's thinking of me. Okay, selfish queen. Like, what? Think about how you feel on the date. Think about, is he attractive to you? Are you attracted? Are you attracted to him? Like, that is actually the question you need to ask. Are you attracted to him? Do you like how you are around him? Do you like what he's giving you, energy-wise and conversation-wise? They're like your first date things to think about. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if he is not attracted to you. You can't figure that out. Half the time they don't even know what the fuck they're thinking in their mind. I'm gonna do some scenarios for you. Worst case scenarios. Side topic, side note. We're gonna go into a little side note. Um, okay, worst case scenario number one, he's not attracted to you. You're only discerning this from his actions towards you on the date, let's say. And then afterwards, he's like, hey, I'm not really interested. Like, lovely to meet you. Okay, full stop. Who cares? It's a first date. He doesn't owe you anything. You don't owe him anything. It's a date to find out if you're both attracted to each other and you want to see what's going on there. Okay? If he's saying on the first date, not attracted, like, thanks for the date, whatever, okay, great, we can move on and find someone that is attracted to you and you equally are attracted to them. It's one less man off the table. I mean, honestly, not a big deal. And that's where I'm coming from with the pressure thing is like, you just don't want to have that pressure on you to be like, this person is the one. It's just not. You need to find out first. Do we vibe? Are we vibing? Are we attracted to each other? Worst case scenario number two is that the date's awkward. You have nothing to talk about. The conversation is not flowing. Okay, that's all right. Now, some people are funny with this, but what's the point of sticking around on that date? If you stay longer on that date, you're really doing a disservice to yourself, him, you're leading him on, and you're leading yourself on, and you're doing it in the worst way. I'm sorry. If I'm going on a date and I've just realized, oh, you know what, I'm actually not attracted to this man. Get out of there. Get out there. Like, go leave the date. Like, I mean, why stay? Why stay longer? He's going to be like, oh, hell yeah, this date's going well. I say that even if it objectively is not going well because men, one thing they can't do is read the fucking room. My housemate's top excuse, and I actually love this excuse, I think it's probably the best one, is she would go, oh, my housemate doesn't have her keys and she needs to get into the flat. I need to go home. It's not an emergency, which seems like, you know, when they do emergencies, you're like, okay, come on. Like, I'm not going to believe that. But it's enough an emergency that you're like, that's reasonable and completely realistic to have, you know? Another one, worst case scenario, is the date is going terribly, but you're too scared to leave. Fine. Now it's the end of the date. Is he going to kiss you? Okay. Ideally, you would have left by now, babe. Ideally, you would have gone, I gotta go. I've gotta go. There's also ways around leaving a date early, especially if you're unsure to begin with. I always just say, like, I've got something on afterwards to go to. And that way it also just keeps me track in terms of like, okay, let's say the date's going well and I actually want to stay. I'll just be like, oh, actually, so and so's texted me and I don't need to go anymore. Or I can stay a bit longer, like, would you be keen? Vice versa. Oh shit, yeah, no, that thing's coming up, like, I've got to go. I've actually got to leave a bit earlier because I've got to get there on time and they've asked me to set up earlier or they've asked me to rah rah. Like, you just make it up. I think lying is fine in these situations because otherwise you're really going, I don't like this date. I don't like you. Can I leave? And yes, it's direct. And like, I think some people would say, like, oh, you should do it like that way. You should really be honest and upfront and tell them what you think. However, dating is a really vulnerable activity. And going on dates is really a lot for people. Like, I think, you know, people get really stressed about it and it's a huge leap for a lot of people. And I think if they do that and then you stomp on them a bit, it's a bit like you could have lied. You could have just said, like, oh, I'm really busy or I've got to go because of whatever. Just lie. I think, like, just lie. Can I say specifically limited to the scope of dates where they're just not going well, but that's like a very PG not going well. Not and I'm not talking about there's like an actual unsafe situation happening, completely different if there's an unsafe situation. But I'm talking about the ones that are just about, men being stupid and thick and dense, which is like 99% of all dates. So, worst case scenario, he leans in for the kiss, do the cheek. You just go, I don't do kisses on first dates. Perfect way of swerving. Piggybacking on that worst case scenario I mentioned of catfishing. Sometimes men do catfish. Like it definitely is a thing. The ways to get around that is to make sure that obviously this is specific to dating apps. I always check that they have a picture smiling with their teeth. I always check that they have, I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. Oh, the pollen's really getting to me. It's spring in London right now and it's good. So you want a photo of them smiling. You want a photo of them with friends, hanging out with friends. And you want to avoid any self-deprecating prompts or like answers to prompts rather. Oh my God, if you worst case scenario, you're going to get a self-deprecating prompt answer. That's your red flag number one. Number two is they don't have any pictures smiling. They're just really serious and like boring. And then three is like they don't have any friends in their pictures, because that means that either they actually don't have friends, which is a red flag, especially as a man. I feel like I don't feel safe if I would just never go on a date with a guy that hasn't got friends or doesn't have pictures with friends. And then I would also, I think, just self-deprecating. I mean, like as soon as you get a self-deprecating man, I'm like, what? Why are you complaining? Why are you so insecure? You're in the most privileged category of people, of human beings on the planet. The only ones that are more privileged than you are the richest of the rich. But otherwise, in terms of society, you're so good. And you still have time to complain. You still have time to be an insecure little bitch. Okay. Okay. No man that has really self-deprecating humor will ever be a good person to date. They just won't, because they'll just be thinking about themselves constantly and they won't have any time for you or what you need to complain about, which is, I mean, the essence of a relationship, right? Is a woman going through the life and a man supporting her going through the life. He's just a supporting character. So, anyway, do you want someone that is just thinking about themselves 24/7? I wouldn't. I hope this is reaching the right people, and I hope I'm not going to get incels listening to this, but anyway. Okay, places to go for dates. For my first few recs, these are people that don't drink at all. So, coffee date, fine. I don't love it. I don't think coffee dates are the epitome of a date. I think it's a hangout, and I think it's very low investment from a man. It's literally £4 for a coffee. I'm not obsessed with it, but I know that a lot of people that run or like are very active and love a little coffee date love that. I'm not going to judge that, but I do think that it should be considered a mini date, and I don't think it should be considered a full date, because it's not. They're not courting you. They are going, oh, do you want to go for a walk around the park and I'll buy you a £4 coffee? Like, that's nothing. I'm not a massive fan of activities. I don't love mini golf, bowling. I just think, hot takes. I know that people are going to judge me for this, but I think they're for teenagers who are going on dates and can't afford to go to the pub or the bar or anyway, that's my opinion. So yeah. But those are options for those that like to do that. I also think that you can go on a dinner date, although I'm hesitant to suggest a dinner date for a first date, just because when you go on a date, you want to be able, especially first date, you want to be able to get out of there as fast as you can. If you're in a restaurant where you've got the menus, you've sat down, you've ordered food, there's really no getting out type of situation. I think it's better to leave those dinner dates to second, third, fourth, etc. So don't recommend those, but they can be done, especially in like a tapas setting. Tapas is fine, but a full restaurant meal, no. A picnic. Picnics are cute. I love a picnic, and that can be totally um sober. Sorry, I feel like I sound like an alcoholic when I'm saying that, but I'm not. I'm just thinking about picnics, and I already was thinking prosecco, but dial that back. You can have it sober. So they're cute little dates to do. Drinking dates. So for me, my favorite types of dates are ones where I go to a cozy wine bar, dim lights, obviously, small. Not too small, and the music needs to be loud enough that not everyone's hearing my conversation, but not too loud that I'm like, what did you say? What was that? Making him repeat a few times and then nodding and laughing when he's just told me that his parrot just died. So, I love wine bars. I love pubs are fine. Pubs are good. They're casual. They're chill. Especially in London, I feel like it's usually a pub. I would avoid going to places around your local area. Hear me out. Kind of considering shitting where you eat. If you're going to go on a date and you're going to do it in an area where you frequent, where you live, where you work, where you grocery shop, you're setting yourself up for a bit of a disaster, especially because you're expecting this date to go well. Fine. But if it doesn't, then you've had a terrible experience at a cool pub that you probably want to go back to with friends or on another date, and you've got these weird memories that you can't escape. So I always recommend going out. So being in an area that you don't usually frequent, it's great for exploring, it's great for like finding out like different areas. I feel like shitting where you eat is like entirely the point of that. So I wanted to talk about detaching from the outcome. Okay, this one's a really hard one, and I completely empathize because I've been on so many dates, and sometimes you just really do get attached to what the outcome would be of the date. So, you go on a great date, you're like, he's so hot, he's funny, he's smart, we had a great conversation, the date went for 6 hours, wow, wow, wow. He's ambitious, he wants the same things as me. Stop right there. And this is something that my best friend Kira always said to me was that no one owes you anything on a first date. No one owes you anything. They do not owe you a single thing. And I feel like that is it's a hard thing to process because I mean, you go, oh my God, I had the best date ever. Like, and you just go, I need them to message me. I need them to set up a second date. I need it all now. It's always a good idea to go, that date went really well. Putting that aside, I'm going to live my life. If that date becomes a second date, great. If that date doesn't, if he doesn't message you back, doesn't try and set up a second date, doesn't indicate that he wants a second date, that's okay. You can at least appreciate that you had a really good date with him. And then that way it's like, oh, I had a really good date. I know what a good date is. I know what I liked about that man that I can expect from other men that I go on dates with. So there's things that you can really pull from and extract from that experience and not make it, oh, that date went so well, but he never called me back. So therefore the date was shit. No, you can still say, I had a really good date. It's like shifting your mindset and detaching from the outcome of the date, because then you get really you have a lot of pressure, you get anxious, um, things like that. It's a tough world out there, but I think there's ways of appreciating the experiences you get. Um, without expectation. There is so many ways a date can go. I've had really good dates and I've had really terrible dates. Like my dates have been shocking. And I've had dates where they're both shocking and bad and funny. And always a laugh when I bring them up to friends or people I've just met and I say like this is or funny, or like I bring them up to friends and I say like, hey, I've had the funniest date ever, like let me tell you about it. Because there's nothing worse than taking it so seriously that you really feel hard done by when you have a terrible date and you don't think of it as a learning lesson and a funny fucking story. I have so many dates where I've been like, whoa, what the hell happened there? Um, for instance, I've had a date where a man has skateboarded up to me on said date, and then within 30 minutes proceeded to tell me that he has committed armed robbery when he was 15, put a knife against a man's throat. Hmm. Because he felt safe to tell me that. We're still friends actually to this day, but like that's a date that I had. I've been serenaded to on my dates, on my first date. That was actually kind of funny though. I love that one. There was a date I went on where he had a wife. I went on a date with a guy and he was really nice actually. A bit weird, but nice. And I let him borrow I have this like beautiful book, the 1984 George Orwell book. It's like one of my favorites. Kira got it for me and it's like a really pretty one from Harrods. So it's like a really like silky pages and really nice like hardcover. And I gave it to him because I was like, oh, we were talking about it. And he was like, I really want to read it. I'm like, oh, yeah, here. My fault. Do not give men anything until like the third date because the first date, he doesn't owe me shit. And this is something, again, I keep learning. He took the book and then we agreed not to see each other again. And then he had to return the book to me. And he was going to try and put it through my letterbox, my mailbox. But because the book is like a really nice book and it's quite thick, he had to wrap it up. And then, of course, it doesn't fit in the mailbox. So he had to message me going, you home? Can I give it to you? Because the mailbox is like too small for the book. And I was like, yeah, you can. I have windows facing the street. And so I can just open the window and great for Uber Eats. And mail and stuff, and great for this guy to give me my book back. Fucking awkward. Moral of the story is that if the date goes badly, think of it as a funny story. Think of it as a way to make fun of the situation. It's a little playful, fun experience for you. I remember all my friends' bad dates because they're all really funny. I also think it's a way of learning that you maybe need to move away from a certain type of men, or you need to be a bit more vetting with your dating profiles that you're matching with. The thing is that the right person will make you feel comfortable on the date. You'll feel really comfortable. You'll feel relaxed. You'll feel like yourself. You don't want to be bored on the date, for sure. But you also want to feel like you're just having a date with an old friend that you want to fuck. I think that's kind of like the vibe that you want to give, is like an old friend that you want to fuck. You know? And then I want to end with some preparation points on how to make the date fun and how to make the process of dating fun. I'm going to go through it like it's Thursday. Thursday, you wake up, got a date tonight. First things first, you're going to get ready for said date. I'm talking good playlist, good music playlist. I usually make a glass of red wine. Red wine for me, perfect dating drink. It gives you like essential energy and it makes you feel a bit tipsy, but not like white wine tipsy. Stay clear of white wine, please God. Red wine is good. Red wine's really nice. I really like red wine. Then I want you to look the hottest you've looked. And I want you to know that wherever you go tonight and whoever you meet that date, whoever you meet on that date, they're going to think the same of you because you feel it. Therefore, everyone around you feels it. That's actually how energy works. So, I want you to take one last look on the phone of the dating profile that you're about to go on a date with. Double check what they look like. This is something I've learned because every time I rock up to wherever it is, I go, I actually have forgotten what the hell they look like and I do not know who they are. Couldn't tell you. I also want you to not show up early. I want you to show up 10 minutes late to the date. I want them to be there earlier than you. If they're not, I literally want you to walk around the block and pretend that you're still getting there. I do not want you there early. I need you to not mention that you met on a dating app on the date. I need you to not say, hey, oh my God, can't believe I'm meeting a hinge man out in person. Don't say that. That is a war cry. That's a call to the whole venue that they're going to listen to your conversation now. Do not do that. All right, and then final thing that we haven't talked about, are you going to bring them back to your place or go back to theirs? The answer is it doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter. And do what you feel is right. Do what you feel is right in the moment and you both want it. Okay, so with dating as well, I wanted to share some I'm going to say rules, but it's very loose rules that I follow that I've made for myself that have made me feel better. Okay. Number 1 is the days that you are available for a date. Okay. Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays. Those are your options, guys. I would never do a Saturday date. If I do a Saturday date, it's an exception to the rule for some reason. The reason I don't do weekend dates. I love my weekends. I find my weekends very precious to me. And I have a lot of friends that do things on the weekend. And as I've said earlier, I'm going to reference what I said earlier, which is that no one really owes you anything on a first date. You don't owe them, they don't owe you. That means that, and you'll notice this, a lot of the time people cancel first dates for various reasons because they don't really have a stake in the game. They don't really care. And that's fine. It's a first date. That means that, say you organize it for a Saturday, you've said no to all your friends, your family, whatever events are on because you've got this first date. They cancel. Now what? You've kind of made your weekend or your Saturday or your Sunday around this date that no one's really cemented in. That's why it's annoying. And that's why I think Wednesday, Thursday, Friday are your best days for dates. If someone cancels on a weeknight after work, okay, fine. I'll just go to the gym or I'll just cook dinner at home and watch Severance or something. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not a big deal and it won't fuck you off as much, personally. That's my opinion. I wanted to talk about money in terms of who pays on the date. This is so contentious, but this is what I follow. Okay. You go into the date. You're not keen. When we've decided not keen on the man. pay your half. Pay your half. Okay? I mean, offer it. If he's like, no, I'm paying, fine. However, if you know you're going to go on a second date, you want to see him again. You want to, right? Let him pay. Let him pay the full amount. Reason why he has asked you on a date, he can pay. Don't ask me on a date if you can't pay. I will offer to pay on the second date. That is my rule. So if I know I'm going to see you on a second date and like, okay, you don't know if he's going to agree to it, fine. But you've got it in your head that you want to see him again. Just pay for the second date, but let him pay for the first. Anyway, that's kind of where I've headed with this. I know it's still a bit of a sticky situation, but I just want people to take it a bit more less seriously and more fun. A lot of the people that I've gone on dates with that haven't worked out have become good friends or people I still talk to this day. Just because, you know, you might actually still love their vibe, but you're not attracted to them, or you're attracted to them but hated their vibe. There's so many different ways that a date can go, and that's why you've got to take it as like a fun little adventure rather than something you're trying to control, because you're not going to be able to control anything in that situation. You can't control how they feel, you can't control how you feel, you can't control how the date goes. Okay, I've talked for an hour. I feel like I've kind of given you a bit more of an insight into how I got better, which is like practice makes perfect, exposure therapy, and changing your mindset on dating and the dating process, and having certain things in place so that you feel better about situations when they do arise. So that's my episode on dating. Do let me know if you liked it or if you didn't like it, or if there was something you wanted me to touch on. Enjoy the messiness and chaotic vibe that dating brings. And yeah. Sorry, I just saw someone walk down my street in a Ronald McDonald costume, so that's lovely. Happy Saturday. I will talk to you guys in 2 weeks. I have another episode then, obviously. But thank you so much for all your support lately. I have been getting such beautiful, nice DMs and messages and comments from people I know and from people I don't know. And again, it's a hobby of mine that I've just been wanting to do. So anything like that is just so lovely, and I appreciate all of it so much. So anyway, I will speak to you later. As always, you can find me on Instagram, Life Off Script Pod. Same on TikTok, I believe. Amazon, Apple, Pocket Casts, whatever you listen to your podcast on, I'm sure it's on there. Otherwise, have a lovely day, and I will speak to you in 2 weeks. And let me know about this video quality. Yeah. Okay, bye.